How costly can it be to shortcut the home selling process in St. George real estate? And I mean, like, this morning you've got live Jesse Paul with the Larkin Group, Keller Williams Realty, and the one and only Jessica Taggart Marone.
Thanks for having me. I love being here with you. It's so fun.
Yeah, and this morning she was regretting making this decision to be on with me today, as I called her.
That's not it.
7 a.m.
That's not it. I'm always happy to be here. It's always a treat to be invited. Thank you. No, I was regretting my life choices because I'm not a spring chicken anymore. And I went to the Shakespeare Festival in Cedar City last night, which is so delightful.
Awesome.
It's like reason 4,792 that I love living here. We have access to so many great arts and such an amazing community. And anyway, but
that one
I
is
didn't
really cool.
roll home until midnight and couldn't fall asleep until 2. So here I am.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Bright-eyed. I hope I'm coherent, and we'll see. I might have to take a little nap upstairs on our couch, which is quite divine. But
since you mentioned that the other day, I was in the middle of a conversation, and I sat back on that couch, and it wasn't me, right? It was 3 or 4 of us talking, and next thing you know, I'm snoring.
Oh my gosh, that couch, you guys, is like a Xanax and Ambien mixed together. It's so heavenly. Yeah,
so it was so funny. Brian's like, "Oh yeah, you were full on snoring for like 10 minutes."
I can't guarantee that won't be me today, but
it was a good nap.
I'm not regretting being here. I just, like I said, I'm a little...
it was a little rough getting started.
Oh man.
But the first actual live performance I ever went to, let's say as an adult, was at the Shakespeare Festival.
Oh really?
Yeah, my wife took me in 2005.
I think they said it's the 50th year this year. And I have such an immense love for the arts. And so to be in a community that celebrates it, and
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it was so, and cooler,
Well, yeah, like 10, 15 degrees cooler, wasn't it?
But the first time I took my husband, it was not not any cooler there than it was here. And I think it was it wasn't a comedy. I can't remember what we saw, but everyone got up for intermission and he was like, "Finally, I'm so glad to go home." I said, "Oh, honey, this is just intermission." And he said, "This is just halftime?"
I know.
So
if you've never been to a play, you don't know.
Well, correct. And he had been to plays, but anyway, he was.
But it was so hot.
Not as enamored with the Shakespeare Festival as I am. So I'm thankful I went with some girlfriends. But anyway, it's amazing. If you haven't been up, take advantage of it. I mean, it's in our backyard, and it's a shame not to go see this world-class entertainment. And
they do some great plays.
They do amazing plays. I saw As You Like It last night, which is just really, really funny. And
I'm going to have to check it out. It's been a couple of years since I've been. I think I'll have to check it out and take my wife there.
Yep, take her on a date.
Because she loves live theater, just loves it.
There's something so special
and
about
since
it.
We've upgraded, right, we like to go to the Broadway shows, either in New York, or the last one we went to was Wicked in Oklahoma City.
Wicked's so fun.
Yeah, that was
I just took my niece. It's so fun. Anyway, I got us derailed on theater.
That's all right.
As I can do.
Speaking of theater, right, you've only got one shot in live theater.
Hamilton reference right there.
Right, you've got one shot in live theater. And I would argue you've got about a half a shot in real estate.
What a beautiful segue.
That
was not planned, people.
Sometimes I'm good. Sometimes I get lucky.
That's right. And just to belabor this, Hamilton had their 10-year anniversary this year. Can you believe it?
Did they really?
Yes. Unbelievable.
I should
I'm
find it.
not going to give away my shot as a seller. Let's keep that on.
So what do I mean by that? By half a shot? It's kind of a pun, but it's not really.
No, we just looked up the data for listings on the market right now. What did you say? 2,300?
Yeah. In Washington County, there is 1,750. So in Washington County, if you just look at the board itself, but that can include anywhere in the state.
Sure.
There's 2,300. So
so a good barometer, when I started this 8 years ago, which is unbelievable, I would just look at the top number that's on the MLS, and it was typically 1,600, 1,700.
Yep.
And so just to gauge what, and there were times during COVID and post COVID that we had like 200 and 300 homes on the market. So,
Yeah.
It's not that there are so many more, but buyers have options.
Well, here's
like,
the reality though. There is so many more. And the biggest caveat to that is there are less buyers too. There's about 30 to 40% less buyers right now than we had during COVID.
Sure. Oh, and I don't mean that much more than COVID. I just mean from a...
Right. So there's not necessarily a lot. That's how many we should have. The painful part of it is
Fewer
we don't have as many buyers as we would typically expect.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it feel so painful.
Well, in homes, and I guess I just say that so that people have some context that we're not, we're not going into the crash, horrible market. I mean, people will come up to me and have this pained face.
Yeah.
Kind and just nervous face. And they're just like, how's the market? And I know they're asking me,
are you okay?
Like with love and curiosity, right?
Yeah.
And I say, honestly, I haven't been busier in a long time. And I don't ever want to say I'm so busy to push away business, but we're hustling and bustling here in the Larkin group. I mean, this week has been varied for me. I think you mentioned that yours was too. I've been working with several buyers in different price points. I mean, anything from 500,000. I'm looking at getting a park model ready to list. That'll be around 170. Sweet. And then I took a listing in Stonecliff. You took one in Kayenta. So, I mean, we're seeing activity in all of the price points, but I just say that in context that, it's not as if we have thousands upon thousands of homes and it's a ghost town. But it is important for sellers to really understand they have got to do everything within their control and power and then some that they probably really don't want to do. To be able to be successful in this market. It's like having 10 girls to one or two boys ratio.
I don't know what that's like.
Well, privilege problems. And,
well, no.
and trying to be the prettiest girl to get asked to the dance.
Yeah.
We've got to make sure that we are pulling out all of the stops with our sellers so that besides pricing it properly, it's the obvious choice for the buyers that are there because there are fewer buyers on the market.
And there's a lot more choices.
To choose you, right?
Yeah. So when they're walking through your house, are they going, wow, this is actually the best home I've been through today. Wow, this is actually the best priced home I've been through today. So I had an offer come in last week just to give you an idea of the temperature of it. And this cash buyer closed fast and we countered back and he said, no, I have so many choices. If you guys don't want to negotiate, I'll go choose a different one. No problem. And he said, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but there are so many choices that if you don't want a nice cash buyer, that was actually a pretty fair offer, then I'm good. I'll go somewhere else. That was his exact words.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we've had people walk away from deals over a washer and dryer and, and sometimes
that's what happens
and
that's what happens when you start getting more choices. But when you also start getting headlines, right? Like, oh my gosh, the market's crashing. It's another 2008. It's really not. Because when I look at the data, sellers in Washington County, once they get to the right price, are actually still getting pretty dang good offers. Like 98%.
Right.
That's a good offer.
I even have seen something that came in, not our listing, but I was talking to the other agent and they had multiple offers. Now, here's the thing. It did not go over asking price.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not, right?
If so, barely.
We need to clarify here, but, or in this situation, it didn't, but it gave the seller options and leverage that seller would not have had.
Here's what it also does. It changes the psyche of the buyer.
Absolutely.
They go from a piranha to a minnow.
I love that imagery, Jesse.
Well, it literally changes them. to where they're, or from a piranha to a puppy.
Sure.
Boom. And here's why, because all of a sudden because even in a weird, buyer's market, if we can tap their emotional side, they will change their negotiating style.
So I think, we didn't really talk about discussing this, but I think that's the power right there, is telling the emotional story about a home, right?
Right. Yes.
And really thinking, okay, who are the buyers for this home?
Mm-hmm.
Who are the people that we need to reach out to that really are going to be interested in this home? And what story can we tell about this home and the lifestyle that these buyers will have if they choose this home?
Right.
And so again, we're talking about all of the stops and pulling all the stops in getting a home ready to list. And let's be clear, you don't get to just kind of ignore piles of papers and, people are looking in pantries and, you've got to do all of those things that just visually people are going to be looking at. But what kind of marketing, what kind of agent are you pairing up with that is going to help tell that emotional story for people to be able to say, oh my gosh, my life looks amazing. My life looks amazing in this home.
Right.
So,
and it's in the little details that really matter, because and I've been out showing a lot of homes, and you can always tell if a home has been sitting. They didn't take the time and spend the money for a deep clean. You're looking at the baseboards going, man, those are really dirty. The light switches, really dirty. The window seals, the blinds, right? Those things stand out to a buyer.
They absolutely do. And I worked with the buyer. I met them last week, and the words out of her mouth, which is what I tell sellers all the time when I help stage. She said, if I look up and the air ducts are dirty, I just wonder what else are they not
clean
watching
those,
and taking
change
care
the
of
filter.
their home. So,
I dare say a couple $1,000s spent up front will literally make you 10 in the offer.
Agreed. So I've shown a home in my neighborhood to two different buyers this week, and last week and this week. And these sellers are motivated. They're dropping the price every 15 grand every week. They've done it the last 3 weeks.
Not your listing though, right?
No, it's not my
one that
listing.
you've been
It's
showing.
just one that I've been showing. And I look at the cabinets in the kitchen and in the primary bathroom, and they're kind of beat up. The house is really cute. It's a great location. And both different sets of buyers are like, these cabinets are really, really beat up. And they are. And I think if you would take 15 grand
and spend it on the cabinet
and have those refinished, I mean, there's some other quirks about the home, honestly, but it's just those little things that are costing them time on market, and it's changing their walkaway money inevitably.
And that's one that, because it's kind of costly to paint cabinets.
It is.
But that's one area that you see that makes a huge difference in the showing, the way it shows. And so, but it's a hard pill to swallow for the seller, because they can't know or don't know how powerful it can be.
Well, it's just one of those things where someone's going to knock off 15, 30 grand because they're like, I'm going to have to refinish all the cabinets, or I'm going to have to redo them all. So if we can eliminate any resistance for that buyer to see that it would just be so easy
that's
to
the
be
biggest
in the
key.
home.
That's the biggest key. What are all the little things that could cause resistance that we can knock out?
So I've helped two of my sellers this week that they just, and if you came to my home, I have a guest room of despair right now. I don't want people to think that, this is coming from judgment. This is an honor to help them. But they have a lot of clutter, and same in my home. There's piles that I probably don't notice. I just walk by them every day. So to have that critical third eye, or, third party person come in and say, okay, we need to eliminate this and let's move this. And there was just pieces of furniture that didn't really need to be there. And it's amazing what a refresh can do.
Yeah.
So there's things like that. And you said deep clean. My goodness.
That's a big deal.
It is a big, big deal. And people sometimes can't necessarily like articulate what it is about a home, but they can sense it.
Yeah.
And that has to do with, I mean, feng shui exists for a reason, right? The cleanliness and the order and there's peace in this home. People maintain it. They care about the home. Those are things that people might not be able to put their finger on, but they just feel it. So.
Yeah, for sure. So with that said, if you're on the market and your home's not selling, start looking at your home with that critical eye if you can. Some people can't. Some people just can't.
Yeah.
Have somebody else do it with zero emotion attached. Like no offense.
And I think that's
and figure out, what do I actually need to do that would sell this house?
Yeah. It's so critical right now. There's no other way to really be successful. And I think, one of the things that we try to impress upon our sellers is that it can be incredibly costly to rush to the market.
It really can.
And I just successfully,
it pays
to slow down. And, we get it. Sometimes there are things that are going to happen in life that you do not have that luxury. And we understand that, but most times people do.
Well, when we say slow down, if you're serious and you get on it, we're saying in a week.
Right.
Not a month.
No.
So
but I mean, really
taking that extra week to,
and, people say, I want to list my home. I want photos done tomorrow. And we say, okay, hold up, slow your roll.
Let's slow down.
Let's get some things taken care of. Let's get a deep clean in here. Let's get a landscaper. We've got amazing vendors that can help you do all of these things. Let's get a professional organizer in here.
Yes.
But there are people that do have the luxury of knowing when they're moving a little bit more. I signed a listing this week. We've been in discussion for months. We thought we would be more close to going to the market maybe November. It looks like it's probably going to be closer to January at this point, but we're actively getting the home ready to be the most successful sale for these people that we can, right? We're not leaving anything left unnoticed. And I had a listing, and these are luxury listings as well. So there's different, some, there are things that need to be done, but, they were getting ready for 6 months and doing all of the things that, they did get their cabinets repainted. They said, we would want them painted if we were buying a home at this price point. And so if you can, it is going to pay. And sometimes it's hard to definitively say what that return is, but there's the emotional bandwidth of having your home, like putting your home out there for people to come see it and then them criticize it and say, that's beat up. It looks dirty. I mean, no one wants to hear that. And so if we can help mitigate that, we want to do that. And we do it without shame. We do it with love. We do it with dignity because we recognize we're coming into people's homes. We're looking at their lives and that is a privilege and an honor that we do not take for granted and we do not take lightly here, but it needs to be done. There's no way around it in this market. It needs to be done.
Thinking about that, I had an appointment this week that I probably need to go back and say, hey, did we consider this? And it's the cabinets. Now, at the end of the day, they get to choose.
Sure.
I think I need to, at the very least, have that conversation of, hey, right? Because even they said, I don't like the cabinets, but it's not worth the 10 grand for me to do it. But now I'm rethinking going, man, should we think about that?
Well,
I'm going to go back and revisit it to see if we should or not.
And again, our job is to help people present them with information and suss it out so that, and suss, not like in suspect. Someone said I was trying to speak like a millennial. I'm like, no, this is a great verb, suss. So anyway, we need to help them. We need to present all of that information for them to be able then now to decide. And it is their decision, right? But it's just, if we're not having those conversations, then we're not doing our job. And it's just critical in this market to to be having those conversations.
Right.
And just to give you a little perspective too, I mean, we work with amazing vendors. I had some cleaners in on a listing. They brought in a whole crew. They were there almost all day. Oh, wow. They were cleaning out. This gentleman is, this is not his full-time residence, and he's been out of town for several months. They were cleaning the fridge. They sent me a snapshot. This food is expired. Can we throw it out? You know, I opened that fridge last night to show him. I sent him a video. You know, that cost us, that cost him about $400. So
that's a pretty good price for all day.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah. And they were working hard, you know, because I think sometimes people because it is expensive to move and you're looking at your bottom line and you think, oh,
it does add up,
but it does add up. I don't want to diminish that. However, a $400 investment to have the home sparkling. And when someone says this fridge is included and they open it up and it's sparkling and it sings because it's so beautiful.
It makes a difference.
It makes a difference.
It really does. So much difference. Yeah. You know, and it will make in the difference of how fast you get an offer,
right?
How high the offer will be, and just the overall experience of the process of the sale itself.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And it makes the difference between, am I going to sell or am I going to help my neighbor sell?
Yep.
You know,
and that's why it's critical to look at what's going on the market too, because we're really competing against what's on the market, not what's happened and what's closed. And
right. What's my competition and how do I actually compare? And how do I tell a story that also makes it better, right? Because it's not always about the price. It's also about connecting to their emotional part of their story, right? The emotional part of the buyer.
So, you know, if you're looking at thinking about selling and you're curious what your home is valued, what you need to do, what you could do potentially to get it on the market, you may not even be, you might think, oh, I would be interested in selling next year after my kid graduates, whatever. Like, it is not too soon to reach out, to let us come. We'd love to help you.
And how they find us?
Google us at the Larkin Group. Check us out. Jesse, what's your Instagram?
Jesse at Southern Utah Realtor. I don't know.
I'm Move Me to St. G. Look us up. We would love to help you.
All right. Thanks for having us, guys. This is Jesse Paul, Jessica Marone with the Larkin Group, Keller Williams Realty.
Have a good day. Bye.